Dreaming beyond borders, the prospect of a unified Kuki-Chin nation. Introduction. Ask yourself this: who among us would want to see their nation divided into 3 or 4 countries, reduced to powerless minorities, and subjected to injustices, discrimination, and loss of identity? Surely no people would wish such a fate upon themselves. And yet, this is precisely the reality faced today by the Kuki-Chin Mizo people, who find themselves scattered and marginalized across India, Myanmar, and Bangladesh. Their struggle is not born out of rebellion, but from an enduring quest for dignity, recognition, and survival. Their territories were severed not by their choice, but by the arbitrary decisions of colonial powers and post-colonial politics. It is time to reconsider. What if these kindred people, sharing the same blood, language roots, and culture, were once again united under one administration? What if history could be corrected and justice restored? Historical resistance, a legacy of defiance and aspiration. The spirit of resistance among the Kuki-Chin people is not an invention of modern insurgency, but a historical truth embedded in their collective memory. The Anglo-Kuki War of 1917 to 1919, often wrongly dismissed as a mere rebellion, was, in reality, a full-fledged movement of self-defense and resistance. It was not a local disturbance. It was a trans-regional uprising spanning the Chin Hills of Myanmar, the hills of Manipur, Dao Mizoram, and adjoining areas. The Kuki-Chin leaders understood that the British colonial encroachment would bring cultural extinction, land loss, and political slavery. Their resistance across what would later become 3 nations demonstrates that the Kuki-Chin people were never divided in spirit or aspiration. After the British left, new forms of marginalization arose. In India, the 1950s saw the first petitions and political mobilization for Kuki autonomy. In Myanmar, the Chin people struggled against Burman domination. In Bangladesh, the Kuki-Chin groups suffered neglect and assimilation pressures in the Chittagong Hill Tracts. The division of their homeland across new borders did not break their will, but made their struggle for recognition even more complex and urgent. The vision of unity across borders. Imagine if the various Kuki-Chin insurgent groups operating in India, Myanmar, and Bangladesh set aside internal divisions and merged into a singular political and administrative body. Such an action would not merely symbolize ethnic solidarity. It would signal the rebirth of a nation artificially divided by external forces. The formation of a unified Kuki-Chin administration could bring cultural renaissance, a powerful resurgence of indigenous languages, literature, arts, and identity, preserved free from the pressures of foreign assimilation. Economic upliftment, self-directed development, focusing on infrastructure, education, health, and sustainable use of natural resources, breaking the cycle of underdevelopment and neglect. Strategic strength, a geographically significant entity controlling key border regions, serving as a bridge between South and Southeast Asia. Political leverage, negotiating from a unified front rather than as fragmented minorities, would drastically enhance the bargaining power of the Kuki-Chin people in regional and international affairs. Above all, this vision demands a redefinition of identity beyond narrow tribalism. Whether Thadu, Hamar, Zu, Mizo, Paite, Gangte, Simti, or others, they are all children of the same ancestral homeland. The necessity of unity beyond tribal lines. One of the gravest challenges has always been internal division. Colonial administrators, by emphasizing tribal differences, succeeded in fragmenting what was once a cohesive cultural sphere. Today, if the Kuki-Chin people fail to rise above these divisions, they risk losing everything: land, language, dignity, and even survival itself. Unity is not an option, it is a necessity. Unity is survival. In the face of overwhelming external pressures, be it militarization, political marginalization, or cultural extinction, only a strong collective identity can ensure the Kuki-Chin people's future. Every Kuki-Chin child must be taught that though we may bear different sub-tribal names, our history, bloodlines, and destiny are intertwined. Tribal distinctions should be celebrated culturally, but dissolved politically in the interest of national survival. Hypothetical future: life under a unified Kuki-Chin administration. Suppose the dream becomes reality. Suppose the Kuki-Chin insurgent groups consolidate, tribal divisions are set aside, and a provisional government in exile or a homeland administration emerges across traditional territories. How would life change? Governance structure. A decentralized federal model could balance tribal autonomy with national unity, ensuring every tribe has a voice while maintaining common leadership and policies. Diplomatic relations. At first, India, Myanmar, and Bangladesh would oppose the movement. Yet, through international diplomacy based on indigenous rights, human rights, and historical claims, recognition could be gradually pursued. Economic development, border trade, ecotourism, mining, and agriculture could be revitalized under indigenous control, leading to self-sufficient economies. Education reforms rooted in both modern science and indigenous wisdom would prepare the youth for global challenges. Security and defense. A people's army drawn from the disciplined ranks of current insurgent forces could defend borders, ensure internal stability, and protect the rights of all citizens without tribal bias. Cultural renaissance. National museums, archives, and cultural centers could preserve and promote the unique histories, languages, and traditions of all Kuki-Chin communities, ensuring no tribe is left behind. Challenges: strong opposition from existing states, risk of internal factionalism, initial international isolation, and resource constraints. But with vision, unity, and determination, these can be overcome. Conclusion: the urgent call for unity. Today, the Kuki-Chin people stand at a pivotal juncture. Fragmented by borders and weakened by division, their survival is at stake. Yet their past speaks of bravery, of coordinated resistance, and of a dream that has never died. The dream of a unified Kuki-Chin nation is not a utopian fantasy. It is the logical culmination of their historical, cultural, and political journey. It is a future that demands vision, sacrifice, and above all, unity. The seeds of freedom were planted during the Anglo-Kuki War of 1917 to 1919. The petitions and political activism of the 1950s and onwards watered those seeds. It is now the duty of the present generation to ensure that those seeds blossom into a tree strong enough to shelter generations yet unborn. The world no longer tolerates colonialism. In an age of self-determination and indigenous rights, the Kuki-Chin people must seize the moment. United under one administration, one vision, and one destiny, they can ensure that they are not forgotten relics of a divided past, but living builders of a shared future. Disclaimer from Zalingam Media. This article is a visionary exploration presented in the form of a what-if scenario. The views, opinions, and speculative ideas expressed herein are intended purely for educational and entertainment purposes only. They are not claims of current political reality or endorsements of any political movement. This content is created in adherence to YouTube's guidelines for educational, informational, and research purposes under the applicable fair use provisions. Zalingam Media affirms that this article serves to stimulate academic thought, historical reflection, and cultural understanding.